I'm Steve.
And I'm Bobby.
And welcome to the Mix. Well, what's the mix? Well, I'll tell you what the mix is. The mix is basically a place where young married couples, they come and we chop it up. We talk about, very controversial, taboo issues that a lot of people are kind of scared to talk about. So one of the things that we're going to talk about tonight is how to fight fair, all right? So listen, and one thing that I hate, what's a pet peeve of mine, baby?
What is it?
A pet peeve of mine is when people say, oh, we don't fight. We love each other. This is my wife, and we just care for one another, and we don't argue. So we just have disagreements. That's a bunch of all right?
That's both.
Listen, every married couple, they fight. They don't get along. They have arguments. They have heated arguments, but there's a way. There's a way, people out there, to fight fair. So we're going to talk about how to fight fair, all right? So What's a couple things that, number one, let's talk about the do's and the don'ts. Let's talk about the don'ts real quick.
Yeah. One thing that you don't want to do is you don't want to walk away. You don't want to walk away.
You don't want to walk away. I mean, even though that is not one of our points. But, and this will get cut out. But let's see. All right. So, okay, hold on. All right, so listen, guys. All right. So point number one, when we were talking about this thing, okay. So here's the deal. Express yourself. What do we mean by express yourself?
Don't hold stuff in. Don't hold stuff in.
Absolutely.
You don't go all day and you did something to get on my nerves at the beginning of the day, and then I wait like a week later to bring it up, because by the time I bring it up, now it's a big deal. Now it's compounded. It's a compounded issue instead of a small issue. Like, why didn't you make it down to take out the trash?
Right. So you don't want to bottle your emotions, because something big, as far as taking the trash out every Wednesday morning, something small, of taking the trash out on Wednesday morning, if you don't do it, then all of a sudden here comes Saturday and she is trying to cut you with a knife because you ain't take the trash out on Wednesday morning. So, but you want to express yourself, you want to talk about it. If she made you mad or if he made you mad, what made you mad? Talk about it with your spouse, with your teammate. All right? Yeah. What's another thing? You don't want to hit below the belt.
Oh, yeah.
Let's talk about hitting below the belt.
First of all, as a married couple, you know some things about each other. I know your most intimate things. I know your insecurities. I know your failures. I know some things about you. And so when you fight, you don't want to bring those things
Ammunition.
up. Yeah, you don't want to use the dirt on each other. Like, that's why you ain't got no friends, because...
Why you want to talk about...
Because you ain't got no... No, I'm just playing. But you don't use those things that will hurt a person. You just don't do it. It's just not fair.
The thing about it is that you want to protect your spouse. You vow to protect your spouse. You vow to just be there for them. And that's one thing that you don't want to do. You don't want to try to hurt them. And you know what? It's just human nature. When you're in a fight with somebody, you want to hurt that person as much as you can, right? And so when you're in a fight with your spouse and you have all that ammunition, you want to use it, and you want to just hit them where it hurts, to where it'll hurt deep in their feelings. But what that's honestly going to do is that's going to hurt your marriage. So please don't hit below the belt. Ladies, you know a lot about your man. You know a lot about your husband. Don't hit below the belt. Fellas, you know a lot about your wife. Your job is to protect your wife. She's the delicate flower, and you don't want to mess up the petals.
But you know what I don't want to do? I don't want to go straight for the jugular in a fight. That's when I say that, you know how we decided that we would never use the D word.
The D word.
We don't use divorce. We don't go there.
That's the D word.
That's the D word. That's the D word. No matter how mad we get, it's not an option. Divorce is just not an option. It's not on the table. And so when we fight, we may have to table some stuff. We may have to say, look, we might need to talk about this later, because I don't understand how I could even be with somebody that thinks.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And what some people like to do is they like to, in the argument, especially when they're losing, right? They like to say, so what you want to do? Well, what you want to do? well, maybe we're not supposed to be together. And they like to run to that part of it, and they like to throw that word around. And a lot of times is that sometimes you may throw it around and then you may call somebody's bluff. And then the other time they may say, well, let's consider it. And next thing you know, you opened up something that you never wanted to open up.
Yeah.
And you don't want to bring divorce into the marriage. Listen, this thing is to death do us part. Richer for poor. And
even if you recover from a hard conversation like that, now it's in the back of your mind. Now it's like, he's going to leave
That's
me.
an option.
I know he's going to leave me if it gets hard, or she's going to bail. You know what I mean? And it brings a whole level of insecurity in a marriage that it just doesn't need to be there. So just keep it off the table. Don't say the D word.
But here's another thing, too, that I wanted to talk about was, and this is a big thing. This is one thing that we had to learn in our marriage, too. Because we've been married now for 10 years. And, one big thing was, it's like, and over the 10 years, I messed up. I've done some silly stuff.
Not me.
Okay, whatever. So, when you sit here and like you bring up something I did back in 2008.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So here's the deal. You want to let the dead stay dead in the marriage. If you guys dealt with something and it's a done deal and it's over with, let it stay dead. Don't bring it back up and be like, well, you remember when you did. Listen, you want to make sure that you don't do that.
You can't choose what you resurrect from the dead. You might bring up an old issue, but you also might bring up an old monster. You might bring up an old monster out of your spouse, and you don't want to do that. So just leave it alone. If it's buried, just keep it buried.
And if you dealt with it, you dealt with it. All right, so here's the deal. Okay, so and we were talking about this last night, and we were saying that there are rules to fighting.
Yeah.
So how do you fight fair? Okay, so when I'm thinking about how a husband and a wife are supposed to fight fair, I think of a boxing match.
Yeah.
So when you get in a boxing match, there's several things that happen. Number one, there's time limits on the rounds.
Right.
Let's talk about that real quick.
Yeah, and we kind of touched on it a little bit before. When you get into a heated argument, you need to, they're making it to a point where you need to table it because it's going nowhere. Everybody is in their feelings, everybody's in their emotions, and some stuff is getting said, and now you need to just walk away, calm down, think about why you're actually angry, and come back.
Because even boxers in the ring, after 3 minutes, they got to take a timeout. They got to go back to their corner, and they got to get experienced counsel. I'm not talking about going to Ray Ray and them. I'm not talking about going to Little Richard and asking him about your marriage. No, I'm not talking about that. And she can't go to...
All of my counsel is very
she can't go to her girlfriends all the time and bring their marriage. But it's counsel that you guys have to bring it into and talk about. So therefore, y'all can come back into the ring and handle your business. Also, another thing that happens in the ring is there's a referee.
Yeah.
So what does that mean? Like sometimes there are arguments where you need to bring a third party in and you need to talk to somebody and get some counsel.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
And I'm talking about some counsel that both of you guys agree upon, that know what they're doing and are very experienced. All right. And what's another thing?
I think that you got it. As long as you're, playing by the rules, you're fighting fair.
All right, baby. So we talked about a lot of great things as far as do's and don'ts when fighting and, how to fight fair and all that good stuff. So, but now it's my favorite segment of the show.
Yeah.
Ask BS. All right. So the first question comes out of, it comes from a young lady, and she says, what do you do if the fight has gone too far?
Well, what do you mean too far? It depends on what it means.
Like, what do you mean, like, are you in danger? Do you need to call the police? No, in all honesty, if the fight has gone too far, meaning somebody has said something that they should not have said, or somebody has done something that they should not have done, then immediately all parties need to stop, or you need to remove yourself from the situation. Listen, Bobby and I have been married for 10 years, and there have been times where the fights, got ugly, and somebody had to be the bigger person, whether it was myself or whether it was her, that just said, listen, I'm not going to go here with you, and just leave to calm down. Not leave to go do anything crazy or stupid, but to leave to just calm the situation down and to live to honestly fight another day and fight for your marriage.
Are you quoting Friday? Sorry. But you know what? You bring up a good point though when you say, call the police, because one thing that you don't want to do, if you ever find yourself where somebody has gotten physical, that's no good. Ladies, if it has ever gone that far where somebody has put their hands on you, it's time to get some serious counseling. I just wanted to.
But wait, I mean, I got you. But let's not act like,
Oh, because I have put my paws.
Don't act like the ladies don't try to hit too. You know what I'm saying? I done blocked a couple 1-2 combinations. No, but listen, in all seriousness, you want to make sure, guys and ladies out there, no hitting. No hitting, no verbal abuse. Listen, this is your partner. This is somebody that you stood with at the altar, whether it was at the courthouse, Bobby and I did it at the courthouse, or whether you guys, did it at the at the church or whatever, and you guys said, listen, I vow to protect you. I vow to be your best friend. I vow to love you. And you want to make sure that you protect your helpmate the most that you can, the best way that you can. And that's how you protect their heart, by not hitting below the belt and definitely not physically hitting, all right?
Absolutely.
All right, second question is, what happens, this is a great question. It says, what happens if my spouse wants to walk away, but I'm not done talking?
Oh, I like that one. I like that one because I think that in a fight, you have to have the ground rules in place before you even get to a place where you're fighting. You got to know how to fight fair. That's why this conversation is so important in marriage. You have to know, just like a boxer knows, when they get in that ring, they know the rules of the fight. They know that I cannot hit below this line. I know that when I hear that bell ring, it's time to get out. If you know before you go into a fight that, hey, if I get too upset with you, I have the right to say, listen, I think we should talk about this another time.
So I like that. So it's almost as if, like you're saying, it's inevitable that the husband and wife are going to eventually one day get into a disagreement, get into a fight, but they need to plan before they get into that fight and talk about how they're going to handle themselves. I like that, because if you go into because here's the deal. Here's the difference between a street fight and a boxing match. Down in Las Vegas. A street fight is no holds barred. You're going to pick up the next thing that you see on the floor and try to knock somebody out. But if you're fighting in a ring, in a boxing ring, where it's there are rules and regulations, then you're going to stay within those rules and regulations. I think that's very important. That's a great point.
I like that, what you said about a street fight. Yeah. Because, how when you see a street fight, for ladies, I can only speak for ladies.
Catch me outside.
Look, no. Every time I see her, it's going to be a problem. I've seen that on reality TV. But you know what? When you have a fight where there are rules, then it's not going to be a problem the next time you come together. When you come together, it's just time to get back in a conversation, continue to talk it out, and come to some solutions.
Absolutely. So listen, that does it for today's show. But I thank you guys for you coming in and you joining us for today. Yeah, listen, we talked about a real controversial issue because a lot of couples don't know how to do it. Yeah. A lot of couples don't know how to fight fair. And because they don't, a lot of their marriages end because of a silly fight or a big fight. But if you know how to go into the fight and you know how to fight fair, then that's just going to do one thing, and that's going to make your marriage stronger and last longer. So, again, thank you so much for joining us. Please join us next time. You can follow us at themix.com. Check us out on our Facebook page. Follow us on Instagram. Just check us out. Look, our information is everywhere on the screen that you're looking at right now. So, that's it.